Welcome to Hans India Web Conversations. I am Rajeshwari Kalyanam and we are with Sanjay Reddy, the founder and chairman of Silly Monks Entertainment Private Limited, a digital entertainment company that began in 2013, and it became the first digital entertainment company again in India to have gone public. Welcome to our Hans India Web Conversations, Sanjay.
Thank you so much.
I think the lockdown and COVID-19 has impacted digital entertainment in a good way. There has been an amazing surge. How is the surge treating you at Silly Monks, and any new strategies that as a company you've adapted?
I feel sad to say that yes, it's impacted us in a very positive way. Not that we all wished for this situation in our lifetime at least. But yes, the content consumption has seen a multi-fold increase, especially when initially it started in March last week, and up till May 1st week, we had good surge. Now it's kind of plateauing down for two reasons. One is kind of work has started resuming. Some of us are going to office. Some of us are being engaged from home. Second, the rate at which the new content was available earlier is not happening now. So, if you browse through these OTT platforms, you would feel that you've already seen about 60 to 70% of the content. So that is where we are today. And new strategies, of course, you like to have new content, but there is less of production happening. So we don't know when that will happen. From a YouTube point of view, we are encouraging more and more content creators to create content. Like you and me are sitting at home and creating content. We are trying that side.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things that we will explore later, where government has given us some facilities where we could increase the production. On the supply side, there had been some attention, but I think the demand is not there. I think there's some difference in the balance. So that's something I would like to explore on how it's treating startups. But before that, let me get back to digital entertainment. There have been an amazing surge, yes, and with that there has been many new comers who have come into this whole sector, and there have been a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of new people beginning to produce some content. So what do you see as a person who's been here for so long? What do you see that how is the trend going, and what should be done? Maybe do you have any suggestions also for these people?
See, from a content creation point of view, whatever we are all doing is a stopgap arrangement. And we are hoping that it's going to be a very short-term thing. But, really have to look at the scenario and dig deeper into that. Till we get our vaccine done after human trials, there is no respite. Once the vaccine is approved, then you got to hit the commercial production, which I really don't know if we have that kind of facilities in our country or in the world to produce such mass numbers. And even once it is produced, administrating it to every person who's affected in the world will take a long time. So again, I would say it's not a happy thing to say, but I feel this impact is going to last us for at least next 2 to 3 years. So the stopgap arrangement is not for 2 months, 3 months now. It's going to be a way of life for the next 2 years at least. We'll have to figure out how do we take precautions and save ourselves from getting infected, at the same time continue with what we are doing. The thing of shooting with many people, cameras, crowd is a thing of past now. We have to figure out how do we create good content which is engaging within the parameters that allows us to be safe and shoot. I mean, the other day there was a serial actor who contracted COVID, who was part of 3 serials in television channel. All 3 had to shut. So we have to figure out how we can avoid such situations.
Plus, any suggestions for the newcomers into the digital entertainment space? There have been individuals or a group of individuals who are beginning to start new channels, who are looking at this space, maybe because of the surge. But going forward, how do they kind of set a foundation which can take them along when things open up?
So I would not say that they have to wait till things open up. Today, technology is around us, which will enable us to create good video, which people can consume. The good problem on hand is that there are more people wanting more content. There is technology. The third part of the piece is you as a creator. If you can use the technology which is available and create some engaging content sitting at home or using a very limited crew, I think you have a huge potential sitting there.
Wonderful. So let me just go back to a little bit of your introduction. Sanjay has been a media professional working with some of the top media companies, our inspiration for a long time before he decided to start his own company. And also, he is an actor, producer, and among other things, is an angel investor. So I would like to talk more about the impact of COVID-19 on startups. In fact, the latest survey I was just reading, which said that around 12% of the startups have already shut down, and 33% of them are dealing with a stop on their funding. Some of the funding is going back. Many of them have problem with their cash reserves. So what is your view of this, and do you see anywhere they can correct it or they can somehow sustain? What are the things that they should do? There are 2-3 things that probably you could talk about it in this situation.
It's a strange situation that we are in, and none of us ever visualized that this could happen. Funding was happening at much larger scale because people were not looking at a scenario that we are in today. I mean, nobody in our dreams also could have dreamt of such situation. It's happening, after almost 88 years. So I would not blame any of the venture capitalists. I would not blame any of the startups to dream big. They were all doing the right thing, but something unforeseen like this happened. We are stuck here. And, at such times, it's the largest corporations or the startups with very large funding with a long gestation get hit very badly. I remember reading Airbnb founder saying that whatever good work that we did in the last 12 years has gone down the drain in the last 6 weeks. So there's something nobody visualized. We can't do anything, So coming back to startups, it depends on what business you're in and what is the kind of cash you're looking at to stay afloat. If your business can survive with small cash, I think you should try and survive and be alive till this is over and then restart your stuff. And while thinking of restarting, think of modifying your idea to suit the post-pandemic situation. There's nothing more one can say because nobody knows how it will pan out and when it will pan out. I mean, in our case, a lot of people think we are a startup because they think it's a digital company and, recently it started. But I keep telling them I'm no more a startup and I've gone to public, I've raised funds. But in our own DNA, we feel that we are still like a startup. Even today, I mean, I am thinking of how to reduce my cost. We are trying to give away most of our offices, trying to get people work from home with the right amount of equipment and do a monitoring software that we can see if our productivity can be maintained, if not increased. So we are all startup in our own right when it comes to the way we should think how our businesses are run. It only the size which matters and the kind of cash requirement that you are at a stage which will impact during this pandemic.
So the previous question that I said I will ask you about how the government helping the entrepreneurs or the businesses. They have announced a few SOPs and few of the loans and etc. So how can startups take from it? Are they able to take from it, or should something else be done? Focusing the startups because we talk so much about made in India and entrepreneurship in India.
It's an interesting question, Rashri, and I am sorry what I'm going to tell you, it'll be a bit discouraging. When I go to the bank to ask for funding, they tell me, you got to get a collateral. I said, if you really need a collateral, then what was the policy which finance minister, unveiled for all of us? And why is it that you're not able to give us money when the government is giving you guarantee? They have no answer. They say, sir, we have to go to our higher ups. Then the second spoke which comes into my world is saying you belong to the media. So it is a blacklisted company. I mean, I'm being very specific about my industry because I'm facing this. As we speak, there are some invoices which will get productive in the next 2-3 months. I'm looking at a cash flow gap and I'm trying to bridge that. And they say you're part of the media. I said, just because you label me as media doesn't mean that I'm not going to survive or I'm not doing good. Please understand, media is a large universe, has 4 to 5 different verticals. I'm probably the luckiest vertical among all the verticals, which is able to churn revenue, grow over my previous quarter. And why can't you take an exception? Then after much cajoling and forcing, they okay, sir, I'll talk to my higher ups, and I tell them put me onto your higher ups, and then there's complete silence after that. So I really don't know when a company like mine, which is growing, has a 7-year balance sheet, profit making year on year, doesn't get money. I don't know how the banks are going to give other startups where their profits are like maybe 1 year from now, 5 years from now. We don't know how will they fund such companies then when they can't fund profitable companies like mine. So answer lies between the lines, and it's for people to understand where I'm coming from. I'm really hoping that the policy announced by the government actually translates into helping people like us. When I hear stories in America, I feel so bad. I mean, there people have been given. Forget individuals. I mean, individuals are getting money in their accounts. There are companies, I'm told, for example, a doctor who's running a dental clinic. He's been given money into his account, has been told, please ensure no jobs are lost. We will ask you after 6 months how you spend the money. I mean, imagine that scenario, imagine our scenario. I don't know what to say.
We have a long way to go.
Oh, very long way. Or is there a way? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the situation does look grim. But I have also seen in May that in and around May there was news that there's a huge surge in funding. Again, it was probably for a few growth companies, as you say, growth sectors, like probably healthcare and fitness.
E-commerce.
Yeah. So, do you think? I mean, how is it for them now? I mean, are they all at least they are the companies, they're getting funding, they're going well? How is it for them?
So I feel any company which is in growth trajectory during such adversity are the best picks, which include pharma, which includes e-commerce, which includes essentials, which includes a lot of companies got into sanitization product. See, they are definitely the pick of the season right now, and they will benefit out of that. But then we are not talking about a basic ecosystem of where startups are encouraged and VCs are funding, right? We are now looking at what will work, what will not work. And of course, you don't blame a VC for it. They want to put their money in the right place.
So let's say there is a lot of unemployment now. People from top positions, experienced people are losing their jobs. So eventually, obviously, the next best thing they would want to do at this stage of their career would be to start a company based on their experience. So what do you think is the right time? Do you think the right time maybe they could start looking for funding? And if what kind of what is your general opinion about this? Again, is there anything in specific or any particular sector they should be looking at? Which is a very tricky situation.
So someone who's very senior and is asked to kind of take a retirement should save whatever he can, because when you have to start a company, you need loads of funds. If you have loads of fund and you can let go of those funds, you should definitely look at some ideas during these times, and they will be takers, because some new unicorns will be born during pandemic is what I'm very sure about. Some unicorns will be lost during this time. So there is always an idea waiting to be funded. What is that idea? We don't know. So one should never lose hope and look at what will work, but figure out your own financial health. I mean, you cannot put everything at this stage and say if it's lost, you're done with it. So you have to take that calculated risk and move on.
Yeah, you always talk about your calculated risk. I think that's one of the things that worked for you as an investor when you started your company. Any good takeaways from your experience?
My experience, I mean, a lot of forums I talk about the same thing is nothing. It's your basic foundation comes from being disciplined and punctual. Everything else comes secondary. Once these two ingredients are in place, then you look at the business model, you look at the management team, their bandwidth, and figure out the timing now. I mean, this timing that we are in today is something which nobody expected. It probably could be a beautiful opportunity for a lot of people to build large businesses. Because if you can survive, grow in such period, I think you will survive in any situation, I would say. It's like driving in India, you can drive anywhere in the world. So right now we are in that stage.
So, Sanjay, just tell me one thing. What are the investors looking for? I mean, they even before this, we would probably be asking this question. If somebody wants to start some new enterprise and they want to look for funding, what is it that they should be, especially during these times, what should they be worried about, and what should they look into and focus on so that the investor finds him attractive or his idea attractive?
So I'll tell you what, situation has kind of changed. If I'm an investor sitting with lots of money, I look at businesses which were running good, have got stalled because of lack of funds, or the scenario has changed. Those are the businesses which will come to you with large potential, but at a lower value. So I would look at such businesses which I can get at a lower valuation and wait for this pandemic to get over, and then look at growing in multiple.
So yeah, so any new idea should probably be just working their putting it together and then wait for this to be over before they begin looking for investors.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So also I always wondered, we always talk about how does an investor find you attractive? Now, how do we make sure the investor is the right investor for us?
So see, there are two types of investors. One is the angel investor, which usually happens through your circle. It's like looking for a girl or a boy when you are getting ready for marriage. So you go through references, right? So somebody will introduce you to someone, then you'll have some background check of that. You'll talk to him, you'll feel comfortable, and then you'll take that step forward. Coming to VCs, VCs is a different animal. They come with large tracts of fund. They'll come with lots of conditions and terms, so that you have to figure out whether you want to go in or not. Angel investor, you have two types. One who wants to be involved on a day-to-day basis. The other one is not interested. He just wants to, review every quarter and figure out that everything is going on. So it's again like boy and girl. You choose your partner after doing your due diligence. Money remains currency for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. So I would like to come back to you as an angel investor, and we've just spoken about the paying guest online. And so can you please tell us about your investment in the company and what you found good about it, and what are your suggestions to that? Basically, this is like a case study I'm asking you, so that your suggestions for the company to stay afloat and go ahead, get over the pandemic.
So about 2.5 years back, I met promoters of a company called Pigo, which is paying guest online. They are basically an aggregator of rooms, primarily targeting hostels and paying guests. So if you were to look at Oyo does hotel rooms of different types of levels. This company does for hostels. And so when they came to me, the only thing that struck a chord with me was when my son was getting ready to join a college in Bombay while we stay in Bombay. It took me a lot of effort to go there and look for a room and settle him. And today with Pigo, you can actually do it sitting here. And that's what struck a chord and said, I'm interested in this concept, and then let's talk valuation. And before we got into valuation, I saw the background of the investors. They came from very good professional companies. They had the hunger in them. If there is no hunger and they don't want to make it big, they're not ambitious, then there's no point getting into such kind of businesses. So for me, the model resonated with me. The promoters I felt were the right people to drive this business, and of course the market was huge because India was unexplored. And when my daughter went to Italy, the country that I've never traveled to, we booked her paying guest a student room sitting in Hyderabad. So I knew that there was a demand which is waiting to unfold, and I was blind. I got into it without even thinking twice.
Yeah. So how are they dealing with? I mean, obviously you would have put it.
Currently, they are facing problem because initial commotion which happened when the lockdown announced, all the hostels were told to shut, so most of them left and went away. Now slowly they're coming back. Then there are companies, especially in IT sector, who are working from home. So the demand for hostels have come down. But I think this is a product which will never die. It's just that we need to survive through this period and slowly get back into mainstream. Because I figured out work from home is not 100% solution forever. It does not really work well. You can do a hybrid model of combination of both, but eventually there will be people who have to come back to cities and stay here.
Wonderful. I think that's like a mantra for almost every startup which is trying to survive through the period, to go down on their expenses and somehow live through this situation. And we hope we can meet you more often, Sanjay, and maybe going forward when things become better, we would like to share with you more. Probably you can mentor more of our viewers on how to go about this whole business of startups and entrepreneurship.
I would love to do that, Rashi, because that's what I can now give back to the society.
Thank you so much. It was lovely. A small interview, but a lovely and fruitful interview that we've had. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.